I don't have time and I don't know what to do are the two biggest barriers that I see when it comes to self-care for busy people. And I'm excited because Hannah Scott is here to totally take the pressure off and show us that it is actually possible to get off the hamster wheel of life. So, in this episode, she's going to share how to find the time in your busy schedule. Yes, it is possible. And she's going to share some of the things that she does when she finally has that little bit of time. So, let's do this. Let's make it happen. We can make self care a reality in our busy lives. Hey, guess what? You can do less and still be on top of everything. The voice that says everything will just fall apart is total mind BS. So, Hannah, I have been feeling like I have no control in my life. And I find myself when I get that way, I find myself like researching and I'm trying to like find a new job and I'm trying to like figure out how to solve all these different problems that I have in my life. But you're here to tell me that I have more control over my life than I think I do. So I cannot wait to hear what you have to say. Tell me more.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. Everyone has more control over their life than you actually think. And what you just said right there is one of the key things that keeps us like in that cycle of overwhelm and anxiety and stress when you are just constantly researching and trying to find the answers instead of just sitting with that inner knowing that is inside you. And so many of the people that come to me get stuck in that same cycle of, hey, let me research and let me find the person that is going to give me the best answer, the best solution, instead of just slowing down, pausing, sitting with yourself, and really having that confidence to know that hey, you're a smart individual. You have gone through tough shit in your life. You can handle this. Stop looking towards everyone else, especially like strangers on the internet. You don't even know that Stacey girl that you're listening to. Why is she telling you how to run your life? She knows nothing about the things that you have been through.
Oh my goodness. So you're telling me that I can trust myself? How do I start with how do I start that journey?
I mean, there are just so many ways. For everyone, it is an individual journey. But I mean, just realizing that you have an inner voice and she or he is trustworthy. Like that's where I would start is learning how to trust yourself. And it can be in small ways. So let me give an example of some of the people that I've worked with. So let's say that you're a people pleaser. People pleaser is like raise your hand, anyone in the audience. If you're a people
Oh,
pleaser, you're going to search for that outside, like that external validation through others, right? So you're going to ask Stacy on the internet. You're going to ask your best friend Brooklyn over here. You're going to like try to talk to your spouse instead of asking yourself, like, what do you think about the situation that's going on? Stop going to others for advice and start trusting yourself by asking yourself, what do you think about this situation? If somebody else told you what you were going through in your life, what would your advice be to that person? And give that advice back to yourself.
wow, that sounds so simple when you just say it like that. But I found that, if I do what I think I should do and then it doesn't work out, that I lose that trust in myself and I start going back into researching. So tell me, how do you guide your clients into that place where they can continuously trust their own inner wisdom?
Yeah, I mean, give yourself grace. Like you can't, so if you were in a relationship, let's say with a significant other, you wouldn't just cut off that relationship if that person was wrong a couple times. So why in the world would you do that to yourself or your inner voice? It just doesn't make sense. So everyone says it like we're so hard on ourselves, and it is true. Like so just building that trust and also giving yourself that grace along the way to make mistakes. And just because you make one mistake doesn't mean that you should cut off the relationship with your own inner guidance.
So I want to start this journey. I want to start trusting myself and feeling more in control. Can you help me understand what are some of the things that I need to do in order to, you know, figure out what my body is even telling me?
Yeah, I think that my question back to you is okay, let's like really talk is where do you feel like you don't have control? Would be my first question to you. Like what is something that feels like you are having that tug of war with to control in your own life.
I feel like I don't have any control over my schedule where I'm constantly rushing to go places. I got to get out of the house. I've got 4 kids. They've got to get out of the house. I got to get to work, and then I get to work, and I'm constantly rushing to try to get all the work done, and then I'm rushing to pick up the kids and do the, evening stuff, all the homework and all the activities, and then the bedtime, and then rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you feel like a lack of control that like you're just always like on the go, go, go and you can't get off the hamster wheel and you have like no time to even think about the process that your life is going through? Is that kind of like what I'm hearing?
Exactly. Get me off of this hamster wheel.
So being on the hamster wheel, it can really burn you out. And when you get burned out, it doesn't really matter if it's like physically or emotionally, it will be taxing on your body. And I can speak from my own experience. I basically got a chronic illness because I was so stressed and didn't even like realize it. I remember going to the doctors and they were just telling me you have anxiety, and I was like, no, I don't. That doesn't make sense. I've been through like way more hard things and I was fine. I don't have panic attacks. It didn't make sense. But what I didn't realize is that, we are an entire human and like our body keeps score. And so if you've gone through things in your childhood, like your body's nervous system is going to be attuned to that. And so there's going to be like subconscious triggers and whatnot. And this is kind of like spinning into a bigger direction. But if you do have like childhood trauma, that can also be one of the reasons why you're on that hamster wheel in the first place for so many reasons. Maybe your parents told you the best thing to do is have kids, but also have a job. Maybe you had like a hyper independent mom who was like, girl power, you better have the career and also do it all. And now you're just in that stress mode where you can't breathe, but you don't even realize that you're not breathing because you've just been on this journey for so long. So one of the ways to be able to like get in tune with your body is kind of learning about like your inner child. And for those of you who don't know what an inner child is, basically your inner child is like that little box in your brain that holds all of your childhood experiences and emotions and memories. So when you tap back into like your childhood emotions, your memories, your experiences, like your learned habits, you're able to kind of dissect that and, see, is this really what I want, or is this just something that I learned from my parents? Or like, do I really want to keep living my life like this? Or is this something that my teacher taught me was right? So there's so many ways to really like tap into your inner child. You can do like meditations, you can talk to yourself, you can like do the exciting things that you liked as a child just to kind of like ramp that up again. And I mean, there's so much to inner child healing. That's one of my specialties, and I could talk all day long on it. But what I really want to say is that, when you tap into that, that's just building that self-awareness is really what it is building that self-awareness so that your body can get in tuned with who you want to be and what you want to achieve in your life while you're still here.
Yeah, totally. That hugely resonates with me because I know that I'm on the hamster wheel because I have a lot of programming from my childhood about what it means to be a good mom and a good worker and a good wife and a good sister and a good, all of the roles, all of the hats that we take on throughout our lives.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And one thing I know how to do is parent. I know how to talk to kids. So
Okay.
if I start treating my subconscious and my body as beautifully and wonderfully and lovingly as I treat a child,
Hmm.
that is going to be hugely transformative for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever done inner child healing yourself?
I have. I have done a lot of inner child healing. And one of my most favorite pieces that I have learned is to welcome whatever is coming up as if it was a child. So if I'm having this feeling of like, oh my God, like I have so much to do, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm going to picture in my mind a child, one of my children or little me,
Uh-huh.
feeling that way. And how am I going to respond to that child?
Hmm.
Because I'm certainly not going to respond to them and say, suck it up, you're at work, you got shit to do. I'm not
Yeah.
going to do that. I'm going to say, oh, dude, man, you need a break. Let's take a breath for a second. Come sit with me. We're just going to breathe. And so starting to treat myself that way. And like, if I would say to the kid, okay, we are not doing homework right now. We are going to take a walk. I'm like, I've done that to myself at work. I'm like, we are not doing this, whatever is causing you stress right now. We're going to take a walk. Like that
Yes.
has changed my life. Absolutely.
Yeah. It just like simplifying it back to that like childhood state. It's just, oh my gosh, it's just such a like breath of fresh air for your brain where it's like, I don't want to, it's so hard to deal with all the adult things. But when you do simplify that and like bring back that like parental love that you don't get as much as an adult, oh man, it's so powerful and it makes such a big difference.
Absolutely. And it helps you to find those little bits of time in your day because what I realized when I started doing that was that I'm the one who made the wheel, like the pace of the wheel. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I
Yes.
set
Yes.
that pace.
Hmm.
What? Like that was mind blowing for me. It's like I'm the one who's stressing me out. What? Right?
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, it's like adult you made this decision. Okay, now maybe can we like back step a little bit and maybe lessen it? And you really do. You have that like parental control in your life. Like there's nobody that is asking you what do you want to do for a living. You're literally the one who's deciding what you want to do now and making that like creating that awareness again is just going to be like, oh, snap, like I'm in control. If I hate this job, I can leave and I have the ability to find the next one. Now, what are the steps to do that?
yeah, and even within that, you have control. Like, say I don't want to leave my job. Taking
Mm-hmm.
that walk for 5 minutes, let me tell you, nobody cared.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I had a voice in the back of my head that says, "Oh my goodness, no, you can't do that. Like, what are people going to think about you? They're going to think you're a bad worker. They're going to think you're lazy. All of these things." I came
Yeah.
back from, whatever I needed, took a breath, went back to work. It was fine,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So I was able to slow down my wheel without having to change everything.
Yeah, and you can just apply that to so many, all of us can apply it to so many areas of our lives. For me personally, when I've been in that cycle where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a business owner, I'm a wife, I'm a friend, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm also a mother, and I have so many people in so many places that I'm trying to like fill the buckets up. But at some point I started running dry and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel so dehydrated, right? And what I realized is I needed space in my life. Like I just wanted space to just be. I didn't want to serve anybody else. I didn't want to have to do anything. I just literally one of my goals was to just stare at a blank white wall. That's what I wanted in my life. And I made time for that. So realizing that you have control of your time and really narrowing down where is your time going. And so what I do with my clients is we do a time graph basically. And this is how you do it. Anybody listening, this is a great thing for you to like pause this video, go grab a pen and paper, and you can do this in like and put it into your life right now. And what you do is you grab a pen, paper, and you write down everything that you do on an average day. So what time do you wake up? Okay, I wake up at 7:30. What do I do then? I go and brush my teeth. How long does that on average take me? And just kind of like guess the numbers and then go and look back at your day. And what happens if your day is too full is that you won't have any time for yourself. If every second, every minute of the day is full, what you know then is that if you really value time for yourself, something needs to be swapped out of there. And what you do then is compare like which is more valuable in your life at this point. Is it like my kid's soccer, or can I just have 30 minutes right here? And if I'm filled as a mother, is that going to make me like a better mom, a more present mom? And that's kind of how you run from there. And now, a lot of the times, what really does happen is you go, you write everything out, and then you see that, oh, well, there are like small pockets of time here and there that you can get back to yourself. But because you're in this cycle of like overwhelm and you're in the cycle of stress, it's hard to see that because, like, on your downtimes, you're just zoning out or you're just going through like click run processes, which are like we're just on autopilot basically. So you don't even realize that, like, oh, I actually do have time for myself. And here's that little pocket of time, but I'm so overwhelmed that I'm not even like present in that moment to really sit in it and to appreciate that in my life or, think about it.
So imagine I find myself a little pocket of time. What do you think would be the most beneficial way for me to use that 10 or 15 minutes that I've reclaimed?
Oh my gosh, it's so different for everyone. Like I said, and it also depends on what season are you in. Are you in like a winter season where you're kind of like hibernating to yourself and you need to do like that boring inner work where you don't want to go out, talk to anybody? Or maybe you're in like a summer season where your life is like, you just need more excitement, more exhilaration, more liveliness in your life. Like, if that's you, go out dancing. If you're in a winter season, go stare at a wall. Like what are you lacking again? Like what do you need? And like when you know what you need and you know how much time, then you can help like start filling that void. So it's really it depends on so many things and it's a personal decision. So for me personally, there's times where I need something like new and fun and exciting and sexy. And other times I just got to stare at a blank wall and I'm good.
All right, so now you have some resources to help people become high performers in whatever area of their lives that they're hoping to improve. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I have a course on inner child healing. So if any of that was something that you are brand new to or you want to be able to apply to your life, I have a whole entire course on inner child healing that will definitely help you like overcome childhood trauma, get out of some of those like learned habits that might be kind of stuck in your subconscious. So that's number one. And then just go to my website, just lifecoachhannah.com. Super easy to remember. And you'll see I have so many other things that you can work with me with. So one of them is like high achievers. That is how I work with people at the moment. And it is a full on like one-on-one coaching program with me where we're able to get over those humps, those bumps, those childhood issues, and become a high achiever in your life. And whatever that means, if you want to earn more money, don't worry. I've had clients who have worked with me, and within a month, they have literally made like 30K months. I've had other clients who, like another woman, did inner child healing, and she came to me and she's like, Hannah, I have had 2 miscarriages and I know that it's because of my childhood trauma. She did my inner child healing course and then a year later she got pregnant. Like people have had huge breakthroughs and that is my passion, is just helping people. So if you have any blockages, even if you're not fully aware of what they are, like that is what I do for a living. I help you identify it and then we strategize on how the crap to get over it. So that's where you can find me, guys.
Fantastic. So I will drop all of Hannah's links in the description so that you can go and get all that free stuff, heal your inner child, and see if working with Hannah might be something that would help you on your journey. So before we sign off today, are there any last messages that you want to leave our audience with?
I want people to know that they have so much more control over their lives than they truly believe. And that no matter if life has hiccups and road bumps along the way, that it doesn't matter how hard you get knocked down on your ass, like you're able to get up and you do have this resilience in you. And whenever you don't tap into that resilience, like that's where you're going to get stuck. That's where you're going to get stuck in the muck, and life is gonna, why am I rhyming right now? Suck. But yeah,
Get stuck in the muck and life's gonna suck.
I don't know where that came. I got this.
Let's get effed. Fulfilled. Subscribe below and see if we can make that happen.